All right, folks, welcome to another issuer update. And this is a special one. This is with Bitzero, a new listing on the Canadian Securities Exchange under the symbol BITZ. And I'm thrilled to be joined with their CEO, Mohammed Bakshawain, and strategic investor, Kevin O'Leary. Thanks for joining us today, guys.
Thank you,
James.
Awesome. So obviously the world of Bitcoin and crypto is a fascinating space in 2025. We've seen tremendous growth in asset prices, and you guys are right in the middle of it. So just to start, Mo, why don't we just give us a high-level view of the company and what you guys are doing and bringing to market?
So what we're bringing to market is basically a very large growth platform, not necessarily only for crypto, but in general for the IT infrastructure industry and the power industry. So Bitzero is mainly a Bitcoin miner today. However, our infrastructure and what we have secured for the future is why we're bringing it to market today. And that consists of power envelopes and infrastructure for the IT compute industry.
Awesome. And before we unpack that just a little bit, Kevin, you've been on this journey for a while with this company. What got you started with Bitzero?
Well, in pretty well every asset class that I invest in, and I invest in all 11 sectors of the S&P, I look for two things: the actually commodity or asset itself, but I always want to invest in the picks and shovels, the infrastructure. And in the case of crypto, and certainly AI today, you think about security like digital payment system, a stable coin, which is just passed by the Genius Act, or Bitcoin itself that we're mining right now in some portions of what Bitzero does. But how do you get to do that? Well, you need power, and you need facilities, you need land, you need permits, you need fiber, you need water, you need cooling. And so to me, that's the picks and shovels, that's the infrastructure. I like to allocate equally between the two. The asset, Bitcoin itself, or even digital stable coins, are volatile based on policy or the fact that the price goes up and down in the case of Bitcoin. But the infrastructure is more stable because you can't do any of it without the infrastructure. So it stabilizes the portfolio. It gives you pretty good asset class growth, because I consider Bitzero a power company, actually. The asset that it has that I'm investing in is its power contracts, some of the lowest on earth, some of the cleanest on earth, some of the most sustainable at a low price on earth, because it's based on hydropower, an abundance of it in Norway, or nuclear power in Finland, and of course the land contracts and the land purchase. It's a really interesting company. But I've been at it and with them for 5 years, but I'm a venture investor, so that's okay.
Yeah, of course. And maybe just let me talk about the sustainability factor of this, Mo and Kevin, because to me, that seems like a competitive advantage here in this space. So maybe just unpack for me what that means, both the problem that you're solving with sustainability, but also the opportunity.
Basically, what we provide here is a sustainable infrastructure base at scale, which is very hard to find in terms of power specifically, at scale and with sustainability as well. What we have in Norway, for example, is 100% hydro energy and is surplus energy, and we're not having any negative effects on the domestic use of power or on the local communities. Same thing with our Finland property. That's at the core of our site selection. We like to operate where we have the least impact for the local communities and the environment. And that's not just something that is for the short term. At scale, and as the market grows, with the demand that is in the market today for power and for expansion, as we see the AI compute industry and the HPC industry is eating up every megawatt of power it can get, the more that becomes impactful on local communities and on the environment, the more those negative effects will be magnified, and the more the value of Bitzero and what it provides is increasing and growing. And we believe in that for the future and the present. So,
you guys just went public. What about this time and place was the right time for you guys to go public on the Canadian Securities Exchange?
Well, it's a very entrepreneurial exchange, and it supports entrepreneurship, and certainly that's what Bitzero is. From its nascent days 5 years ago to what it's created in value during that period is reflected, and where we want to list it. We like that about the CSE, and I think it's a good fit. and it provides a pathway for future growth. We want to tap the public markets. There's no question about it, both debt and equity. At least I want that, not as a manager of the company, as an investor. I would like to see the management there have all the optionality they can to get to the capital markets. I mean, this is a very, very fast-growing sector, and certainly I believe over time will become the 12th sector of the S&P. So why wouldn't I want to see success here? And I was pretty happy to hear that they'd chosen this path, and I support it as an investor, and I will continue to be an investor.
Let's just talk about, you mentioned the future. We're looking at, again, Bitcoin is on the rise. The adoption rates are off the charts. So what about this industry going forward is exciting you? You mentioned stable coins, but there's many other aspects to it. What's exciting you, and where do you guys see this company continuing to fit into that growth?
How I see the company fitting into this growth and why this is the perfect time for the company to list is, first of all, we're at the peak of the historical cycle. So we see this cycle every 4 years, and at exactly the fourth quarter of the year subsequent to the halving, we see that peak. So we have historical trends going for us. We have the mass adoption you just mentioned, and we have our infrastructure, which positions us in the middle of all the demand for AI compute and for HPC activities globally. Also giving us the edge to keep growing. Our power envelopes give us the edge to keep growing in both. We can cater to HPC and AI compute tenants and operators, and in the same time, we can keep growing our Bitcoin mining rapidly in all our sites. So we are perfectly positioned at the perfect time to go out there, say we are here, show our assets, and leverage the access to the market to make those assets grow and keep growing over time. So,
awesome. Kevin, any final thoughts?
Yeah, for me, it's all about regulation. The more this sector gets regulated, the more I like it. What's held it back was the age of the digital crypto cowboy. Those guys are all gone, and now it's the institutional market that I'm focused on. So obviously, the Genius Act paved the way for digital payment systems. I'm anticipating the Clarity Act, also known as the Infrastructure Act. In a couple of months from now, we'll get some traction in Washington. That'll be the next phase. And I think as an investor, I want to be ahead of that, both on the infrastructure play, which is Bitzero, and on the asset itself. I only concentrate on 4 different cryptocurrencies. I don't need to own 10,000 tokens because I can get the majority of the alpha, that's the volatility in price, by just owning 4. So Bitcoin obviously is a core holding. It's the granddaddy of all of them. Ethereum, Solana, and SUI, which is now also known as SWI in the community, which is a Miston Labs product. And the reason I have made that a 25% holding, these are each 25%. This is outside of my stablecoin holdings, which I consider just digital payment. These all have volatility in their asset pricing. But SWI is probably going to get chosen, in my opinion, by the big box retailers because of its speed. I know that people have been talking about excitement on Solana, but it doesn't even compare to what's going on at Miston Labs. And I've learned that in the last 6 months. I've been doing a lot of work with my analysts on what's next and where the puck is going. And I would say this particular platform, which again needs power, it's it all comes back to what Bitzero does. But those are my holdings, and I've got rid of everything else. I don't need it. So that's it. Those 4 plus Bitzero and the exchanges I own as well, because that's part of the infrastructure. And that's basically, if you look at my portfolio, that represents about 19.4% of the portfolio, but it's across a wide range of asset classes within crypto. Bitzero is a part of it, the 4 I talked about, and the exchanges. I'm pretty comfortable with that.
Wonderful. Look, I mean, there's so many more discussions to be had on the topic and with Bitzero. Kevin and Mo, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for choosing the CSE. Where should people go to get more information about Bitzero, Mo?
They can reach out through our website directly, or also directly to me. They'll find my details on a lot of press releases.
Good. It's good to have accessible CEOs and accessible investors like Kevin O'Leary. Thanks again for watching. This is BITZ Bitzero, now listed on the CSE. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.